over $20 billion worth of projects, infrastructure investments, redevelopment, and private capital are pouring into Portland over the next several years. And by 2030, the city may look completely different than it does today. And over the next 5 years, billions of dollars are being invested across the metro area. We're talking about massive airport expansion projects, new Max Light rail extensions, billions in semiconductor manufacturing investments, waterfront redevelopment projects, new entertainment districts, and entire communities are being reshaped by growth. But here is what's interesting. Most people still think Portland is the exact same city it was 5 years ago. They think they already know Portland. The reality, the Portland you are seeing today is not the Portland you're going to see by 2030. And if you are thinking about relocating here, buying a home, investing, or simply trying to understand where the metro is headed, this timeline is going to show you exactly what is happening year by year. Stick around because by the end of this video, I'll show you which areas are likely to benefit the most from all of this growth and why some neighborhoods could look completely different by 2030. I'm Daniela Walker. I help people relocate to Portland and the surrounding suburbs every single week. And if you're thinking about making a move here, call, text, or email me anytime. My contact information is below. Now let's start with where Portland stands today. Before we talk about where Portland is going, we need to understand where it is right now. At this moment, the Portland metro population sits around 2.6 million people, and while Portland isn't growing as explosively as places like Dallas, Nashville, or Phoenix, it remains one of the most important economic centers on the West Coast. Because here is what many people miss. Portland isn't just a lifestyle city, it's a manufacturing city. It's a technology city, it's a logistics city, it's a healthcare city, and increasingly, it's becoming one of the most important semiconductor hubs in America. The region already supports major employers like Intel, Nike, Columbia Sportswear, and Oregon Health and Science University. And those industries are helping fuel billions of dollars in future investment. Now let's talk about housing. The median home price across the Portland metro remains significantly higher than the national average. However, the inventory has improved substantially compared to the frenzy of 2021 and 2022. Buyers have more options, more negotiating power, and more time to make decisions, which means where you buy is becoming more important than simply buying. And that is exactly why the next few years matter, because the growth that is coming won't impact every single area equally. Some neighborhoods will benefit dramatically, others may barely notice, and that starts in 2026. If I had to describe 2026 with one phrase, I would call it the infrastructure foundation year, because the groundwork for Portland's next decade is being built right now. So let's start with transportation. One of the biggest projects underway is the continued transformation of Portland International Airport. The airport is in the middle of a multi-billion-dollar modernization effort. And if you have flown through it recently, you've already seen it. The new terminal improvements, expanded passenger facilities, additional concessions, modernized security areas, improved international capacity, and a redesigned passenger experience, which matters because the airport is economic engine. When airports expand, companies expand, jobs expand, tourism expands, and nearby housing demand often follows. Now let's talk about transit. Portland continues investing heavily in its regional transit network. Max Light rail improvements, bus rapid transit planning, station upgrades, and improved connectivity between major employment centers. Because as Portland grows, transportation becomes one of the biggest quality of life factors for residents. And then there is the biggest economic story in Oregon, semiconductors. Because while people associate Portland with coffee shops, bikes, and craft breweries, Washington County quietly becomes one of the most important semiconductor regions in America. And that story gets much bigger over the next several years. But before we get there, let's talk about what starts changing in 2027. And there is one area that many buyers are still overlooking right now. 2027 is when Portland's transformation becomes easier to see because projects move from planning to reality. Let's start with Hillsboro. Hillsboro continues establishing itself as technology capital of Oregon. Major semiconductor investments continue flowing into the region. Advanced manufacturing facilities expand, supplier networks grow, and high-paying jobs continue entering the market. that growth doesn't just affect Hillsboro. It impacts Beaverton, North Plains, Cornelius, and Forest Grove. Entire communities begin feeling the effects. Now, here is something many relocation buyers do not realize. The west side of the metro has become one of the strongest economic growth corridors in the Pacific Northwest, and that is changing housing demand significantly. Now, quick question. If you're considering moving to Portland, are you looking at the city itself or the suburbs? Because that answer could completely change where you should focus your search. That's exactly the conversation I have with relocation clients every single week. Now, let's keep going. Downtown Portland also continues its recovery and reinvestment cycle. New residential projects, office to residential conversions, hospitality investments, retail improvements, and renewed focus on creating a more vibrant downtown environment. At the same time, the Central East Side continues attracting entrepreneurs, technology firms, creative businesses, and mixed-use development. This area has become one of Portland's most dynamic districts, and investors are really paying attention. Now, this is where things get really interesting, because 2028 is when several large-scale projects begin reshaping entire districts. Let's start with the waterfront. Portland continues expanding redevelopment efforts along key riverfront areas. These projects bring new housing, public spaces, restaurants, retail, trails, and parks. And perhaps most importantly, they reconnect neighborhoods with the river. Now let's talk about sports and entertainment. The Moda Center district and surrounding areas continue seeing investment. Mixed-use development expands, new residential projects come online, hospitality and entertainment options grow, and the district becomes more attractive beyond event nights. Meanwhile, the semiconductor boom keeps accelerating. Advanced manufacturing investments continue flowing into Washington County. Federal CHIPS Act funding continues supporting domestic production, and Oregon remains one of the biggest beneficiaries. The result? Thousands of high-paying jobs, increased demand for housing, and continued economic diversification. Now, here's the important thing. By 2028, people start realizing Portland's economy is much broader than they thought. It is not just technology, it is not just manufacturing, it's not just healthcare. It's all of them working together, and that is a powerful combination. And this is where the winners begin emerging, because by 2029, not every area benefits equally. Let's look at what buyers are likely focusing on. Areas with strong transit access, major employment centers, walkability, new development, quality schools, and lifestyle amenities. They continue seeing stronger and stronger demand. Communities like Hillsboro, Beaverton, Sherwood, Tigard, Happy Valley, Lake Oswego, and Wilsonville remain really competitive. At the same time, neighborhoods benefiting from major infrastructure investments start attracting even more attention. And here is what many people underestimate. The semiconductor sector alone creates a ripple effect. For every major manufacturing job created, additional jobs often follow through, like suppliers, services, housing, healthcare, retail, and construction, which mean growth spreads far beyond the original project. This is where relocation buyers who planned ahead often benefit the most, because they purchased before the improvements became obvious to everybody else. Now let's put everything together. What does Portland look like by 2030? First, the airport transformation is largely complete. Portland International Airport becomes one of the most modern and impressive airports in North America. Second, the West Side Technology Corridor becomes even more important nationally. Semiconductor manufacturing continues expanding, research and development grows, and Oregon strengthens its position in America's domestic chip production strategy. Third, the metro becomes more connected. Transit, investments, road improvements, active transportation projects, and regional planning efforts all improve mobility. Fourth, downtown Portland looks more residential than it did a decade earlier. More people live in downtown, more mixed-use development, more activation to public spaces, and a stronger focus on livability. Fifth, the suburbs continue evolving. Places like Hillsboro, Beaverton, Sherwood, Wilsonville, and Happy Valley become increasingly attractive for buyers looking for a balance between employment opportunities and quality of life. And perhaps most importantly, Portland becomes more defined, not bigger just for the sake of being bigger, more intentional, more diversified, and more resilient. Now, if you're a buyer, the biggest opportunities are often found before everybody else recognizes a trend. That means paying attention to infrastructure improvements, employment growth, transit investments, school districts, and lifestyle amenities, because those factors drive long-term demand. If you're a seller, on the other hand, presentation and pricing matter more than ever. Buyers have options again. They're comparing neighborhoods, comparing communities, schools, and value. And the homes that win are the ones that stand out. So when people ask me where Portland is headed by 2030, I think the answer is pretty clear. Portland is investing heavily in infrastructure, in technology, in transportation, and in creating a stronger regional economy. The city isn't trying to become Dallas or Houston, it's becoming a stronger version of Portland. And over the next 5 years, we are going to see that transformation pay out. Now, here is what I want to know from you. Out of everything we covered, which suburb do you think benefits the most in 2030? And which one do you think is still flying under the radar? Drop your pick in the comments. I read every single one. Now, if you're thinking about buying in the next few years, the smartest move is figuring out which of these areas fits your timeline before everybody else catches on. That's exactly what I help relocation buyers do every single week. Grab a spot on my calendar, link is below, and we will map out which suburb actually makes sense for you. And if you're a seller wondering how all of this growth affects your home, I'll walk you through that too. Same link. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.